In my Lego kingdom, there is unease and darkness throughout the land. The Black Knights and their castle have been overtaken by a race of vampire overlords. The Lion Knights and their castle have been conquered by an evil being exercising total mind control over the knights inside. This being is even too powerful for the castle wizard, who has fled to the tower in the nearby town, while the town itself is defended by the last best hope of the kingdom, forestmen and their allies, the halflings, elves, and eagle rangers, dedicated to fighting this evil. Then, the Red Dragon Castle, empty and decaying for centuries, is awakened by a necromancer with the aid of a sorcerer, both seeking to use the dragon and its army of dwarves and warlocks to conquer the kingdom. But in their casting of a spell to awaken the Red Dragon and the castle from its slumber, there becomes a rupture in the time-space continuum, and an opening appears, allowing the nightmare and the dream worlds to enter the kingdom, introducing even more complications. Wait, what? I'm Tom Bray, since 1954, and welcome back to my channel. You know, I'm a SFOL, a senior fan of Lego, and it's my mission to spread the word that Lego is great for all ages, even seniors. Lego's introduction of the D&D minifigs have opened up this whole new world for me. It's a world not tied to the Dungeons & Dragons game, because I've never played that game, but I hope to soon. No, the world I'm talking about is a world of fantasy and adventure that, well, it fits right into my love of castle themes. And I'm able now, with the introduction of these D&D minifigs, to create a fantasy story for myself, like the one I just told you, that really allows me to integrate and enjoy the castle's theme and set it squarely in a fantasy realm. And now, thanks to all of you, and thank you, I've taken the plunge and I've purchased that D&D large Red Dragon set. And I know that based on your advice, it's going to fit well with my two castle sets, and even with the medieval village set that I still have to build. I can even make it work with my Viking village, with a little tweaking of my fantasy story, I think. But now, I need your help again. Because here's the thing. I collect and build Lego for two big reasons. One, to raise the level of joy in my own life, right? But two, with an eye towards my new granddaughter and the kind of sets she might enjoy playing with someday. And that's why I call myself a grandparent Lego investor, because my investment in Lego sets is not to turn a profit, but instead an investment in the current joy I find in these sets, but also the future joy that I'll be leaving to my new granddaughter. So I've been looking at the big sets that I have and I've bought, and I don't really regret any of the buys I've made. I've really had a great time with them. But with the addition of this Dungeons & Dragons set, I begin to wonder, if there's really enough play value in the sets that I've been collecting. Because one of the criticisms that I've seen on YouTube and I've read is about that big Dungeons & Dragons set is that the rooms inside are small and that they might be frustrating for young kids if they want to play with that set. So it's going to be fine for me, and that set will be fine for my granddaughter, even when she's older. But what about when she's in the 9 to 12 age? I've begun to think that I need to start introducing some kind of fantasy sets that are much more kid-oriented rather than AFOL-oriented, or in my case, SFOL, right? So I was at the Lego store the other day to pick up that Dungeons & Dragons set, and my eyes happened upon some models of sets I'd never seen before, but they had built them and they were on display. And the sets were the Lego Dreamzzz theme. Now, I got to admit, I had no idea what I was looking at, but I began to examine those sets. I really began to appreciate the colors and the imagination of those builds. And I mean, I think that those minifigs from these sets are just way cool. And I even went and I watched a few of the cartoon episodes, and I really enjoyed them. So here's my thinking. It seems to me that if I can make it work for my own fantasy castle story, like the one I've concocted for myself right now, integrating the Dreamzzz world into my fantasy castle world, that would be a way to absolutely ensure that I had sets that would appeal directly to my granddaughter in the future while she, eventually grew into those more complicated castle builds, like the Dungeons and Dragons big Red Dragon set. And that's where you come in, because I need your help again. I need your ideas. If you've built any of those Lego Dreamzzz sets, can you tell me in the comments which pieces I might pick up, which sets that might integrate with the fantasy play of the story that I told you at the beginning of this video? And I'm even happy to hear your ideas about, the mythology or backstory of these sets, how I might integrate them into that fantasy castle world that I created at the top of the video. Because I'm looking at the available sets, and they look really cool. And I already know that I'd like to have that evil shark creature thing, because it looks way cool. And it could easily be like a siege engine against one of those enemy castles. I can see it being used in that way. And in addition, I could see how I might really easily mock the treehouse for headquarters for my forestmen, rangers, halflings, and elves. Oh, and by the way, the Dreamzzz kids would obviously now be part of that league of good guys. Now, I've never done a mock before. I've never done one, and I'm a little daunted by the idea, but this one might be easy to do, with the addition of some green leaves or something along with the blue that's already there to give it a more forestman vibe. Anyway, I'm just trying to think of how I might put these ideas together. And also, if I've missed any other fantasy themes that would be good play sets for my granddaughter, sets I might integrate into the story I've concocted for myself, but would be fun for her later on, I'm open to your suggestions. I'm thinking maybe, I think it's called Monkey Kid, or even grabbing some of those used elf sets, although they're getting hard to find and they are expensive because they're retired. But any ideas you have, I'm anxious to hear what you think. You were instrumental in guiding me towards that Dungeons and Dragons set instead of the Zelda tree. And I still think that Zelda tree is cool, but I get it. I think the Dungeons and Dragons set is much more conducive to the castle theme, and I'm really interested in hearing your ideas. Because just like in life, in Legoland, sometimes it takes a village, even if it's a medieval village. So thanks for watching. Happy building.